Hello guys and welcome to another guitar tutorial. Today I'm gonna talk about gear and I'm gonna prove to you that expensive gear does not matter. You don't have to have fancy plugins, expensive guitars in order to create beautiful sounding professional mix. So if you are out there and maybe you're discouraged because you cannot afford these expensive guitars, super expensive amps or plugins or whatever, don't discourage yourself. Grab your instrument and start practicing, because this is what actually matters. Today I'm gonna create a mix. I'm gonna play on my cheapest guitar ever that I bought. I even bought it before I even started with music. It's a Chinese replica of Fender Stratocaster. You can find it for 80 euros or 100 euros. So this is the cheapest electric guitar ever. It has stock pickups, of course, single coil pickups. It is quite hard to play on it. My strings actually cost 3 euros, which is ridiculous. They're also Chinese, and I'm gonna also show you how I've created this mix with free plugins and the tones that I've used. So please stay tuned. It's going to be interesting for you. Okay guys, so this was my mix and my playing. Yeah, not the best mix on planet Earth, but still I think it's pretty decent. I didn't put much effort into it because it is for a, tutorial purpose only. I'm not gonna release this music to any platform, so yeah, that's why I didn't spend so much time on it. But still, let's dive into it and I'll show you what I've done. So this is my DAW. I'm using Reaper. I just DAW Reaper because it is simple to use and it is very effective. So this is the plugin that I've used, Amp Roots. So it is a free plugin, and in my personal opinion, it is actually the best free amp sim out there. This video is not sponsored by any of these companies, so this is my, as I said, personal opinion. But I will leave links to all the gear that I've used in this video's description. So if you liked it, please check the links below. So Amp Roots, these are the settings. This is the updated version, by the way. When I composed my first song, Chains, for my virtual project, Rage and Fault, I've used the same plugin, but the old version. I didn't know anything about music back then, so I cranked up the gain and the sound was awful, but thankfully to my mixing engineer back then, he managed to fix it. Anyway, this is the amp. I've reduced the gain to almost like 10, or I don't know what's that. This is because this amp has actually a watt of gain, and it is perfect for metal. Well, I've reduced the lows, I boosted some mids, the highs, I've reduced the highs, the present is set to 50%, and as for the pedal board, I'm using a noise gate. I'll turn on actually the compressor. I'm using also the drive pedal. This is for the rhythm part, by the way. I've boosted the level. I didn't use any drive on the pedal, so this is like to boost the amp like in real world. And as for the cabs, I'm using Freeman V30 with ribbon 121 and Freeman M25 with ribbon 160. You can blend the mix here, you can change the microphones, but I just found that this configuration works for me the best. So I've bent my guitars left and right, and without processing, this is how actually the guitars sound. Okay, not that bad at all. And by the way, I've used a guitar for 80 euros for this, so yeah. So I've used an EQ, high pass and low pass filters, 90 Hz and then 8 Hz. I reduced some muddiness here, and I've reduced some harshness on the guitars. As for the compressor, I've used a multi-band compressor. Yeah, this is a paid one, but Reaper has a free one. I'm used to this one, but if I pull out the stock plugin in Reaper, the stock multi-band compressor, it will do the same job. So with processing effects, this is how it sounds. So yeah, some volume automation for the solo part. And now, as for the drums, I've used MIDI drums, of course, because I don't have a drum kit at home. So this is the free plugin that I've used. It is also the same company, ML Drums. So it's a great product. Of course, in the free version, you're restricted because you have only one crash, and as for the tones, only 2 tones. But yeah, it still did the job. So this is how the drums sound. Let me play it. Yeah, you got the idea. Pretty heavy pretty heavy sounding drum kit. Of course, I played with the mixer here. I boosted some things, reduced other things. I played with the EQ on tones and all that stuff. And I've also used a limiter in order to limit these peaks. This by Toucan Studios. It's a free model limiter for Reaper, specially made for Reaper, but it's a free plugin. And now let's hear the solo, how it sounds in solo, actually, and then I'll play it when blended in the mix. Not something special, but trust me, it's hard to play on this guitar. So as for the solo, I've used the same amp with almost the same settings. I've just boosted the gain a little bit because I needed extra gain for the soloing part, and then I used a free EQ for Reaper. I've cut the lows, the highs, and I've boosted the high frequencies around 2 kHz. This is by 1.9 dB, and this is quite good for the solo guitar because it really makes it, cut in the mix. So let's play it all together. Well, not that bad. Also, I forgot to mention, I've used a compressor, drive. Again, I've boosted the amp, and I've added a delay. Of course, you can play with the chorus and with the reverb, but it's a matter of taste, and I didn't like it. So usually I add delay to my solo, and I actually add ping pong delay and I sync it with the tempo of the song, but here you don't have that option, but still it works pretty fine. And now let's move on to the bass. I didn't bring my bass guitar here. I've pre-recorded the bass. I'm using a very cheap bass made by Ibanez. It's nothing special, and this is how it sounds in solo. This is for the rhythm and soul part. It's not that bad at all, and I've used also free plugins. The BOD by TSE Audio. Then I have the stock EQ plugin again. This is my EQ for the bass. I've boosted the upper mids in order to get that bass cut in the mix well and to make it heavy. And yeah, this is just a tuner. So nothing special, but it sounds great in my opinion. It's very professional, and all with the help of free plugins. Great! Now, as you've already heard the mix, I've blended metal with some jazz elements, and this is how my clean guitar sounds in solo. Yeah, it sounds like that because of the single coil pickups, but still, it doesn't sound bad in my opinion. Here is what I did. I've added a compressor. I've used the BC free amp Blue Cat Audio by Blue Cat Audio, and these are my settings: the gain, the drive, bass, mid, treble, and so on. Then yeah, this is again a tuner, and this is my stock EQ for the clean part. I've cut also lows, highs. I've boosted some upper mids and some lows actually, in order to boost some bass frequencies. I didn't want my guitar to sound very thin, and as you know, the single coil guitars tend to sound a bit thin. With humbuckers it's different. And for this part, this is how my bass sounds. As you can see, it doesn't have that much distortion, but this is because we were done with the heavy metal part and we were focused on the clean tones. This is how the mix sounds. Yeah, so distortion here wasn't necessary, so I've used the same bass overdrive plugin, but I've reduced the drive of course, and I've boosted the lows, I've reduced the highs and the presence, and my EQ is slightly different because I've boosted here some frequencies, because I wanted the bass to sound more, you know, a fat sound. I wanted a fat sound of the bass for this clean guitar tones. I know that here you can see some digital clipping, but this doesn't matter because the mix was not clipping, and if I play it again from the start to finish, it will not clip. Sometimes it happens. And as for my master chain, I'm using a stock compressor in order to reduce some peaks, a tape saturator, again by Toucan. It is free. It is a free plugin for Reaper. I'm using a stock Reaper EQ, and then I have a limiter. I've added a loudness meter in order to measure the loudness, but this is also a free plugin. I didn't master the whole mix. It is just a mix, and that's it pretty much. One more thing, I can show you my guitar, so give me a second.
A few moments later.
This is actually my guitar. Yeah. Selnar, you can check it on the internet. It's very cheap. Yeah, Fender replica. I'm not sure if you can call it a replica, probably not, but it's working. The action is super high. I don't know if you can see it from here like that. It's super high. I tried to lower the strings as much as I can, but it was quite hard to do it. It's very difficult to play on this guitar, and of course definitely you won't take it on tour, and if you buy a little bit more expensive guitar, it will be much easier to play on it. But in general, the gear is not that important nowadays, thanks to this great technology that we have at our disposal. And I think that I've managed to create a good mix with this very cheap guitar. So don't be discouraged, you can do it too. Thank you for watching this video, I hope you liked it. If so, please share and subscribe. Also, if you want to listen to new music, please check my 2 bands, Karma Incident and Rage and Fold. I'll leave links in the description too. So see you next time guys, have a great day, bye.